Hey there, it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you a video all about what I'm currently reading and also a bit of an update on certain things. And this is replacing my TBR video for this month. I'm not going to be doing one. I'm just going to talk about what I'm reading at the moment and then get into the update, which explains why there's no TBR as well. So the first thing, that I'm reading at the moment is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, and this one is a young adult contemporary about a girl who goes to this school and she really needs a scholarship. But one of the ways that you can get a scholarship in her secondary school, high school, is that you go to prom and you become prom queen and you get a scholarship. So she's competing and trying to get that, but she's a very anxious, wanting to be one of the background kind of people, so this is definitely a challenge for her. And we also have an FF romance because our main character is bisexual, and I'm enjoying this one. I'm about almost 2/3 of the way through. This is my study cleanser, so I just read it in between writing my essays, which is why I'm not blazing through this, because I think this reads incredibly fast. But one of the things that I don't like about this book is that it jumps in time, and it doesn't jump like next year, the year after. It jumps in these little increments, and then it tells us about conversations that happened in those increments rather than showing them to us, and I miss out on some scenes that I would want to see. So I feel a bit disconnected because of those small little hopovers of certain things that I would rather be shown than told about afterwards. But other than that, it's a very sweet story and I can see what this book is trying to do, so I do like it. I don't think it's going to be one I'll love as much as other people who've been hyping this book. The other book I am reading is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Finally reading this one. Everybody seems to be loving it, and I have to admit I'm really enjoying it too. I'm buddy reading this with my good friend in real life, and she has the same disability as Chloe, which was fairly recently diagnosed, so I'm learning more about her as I'm reading this, and she gets to see herself represented, so it's a really nice reading experience for the both of us to share. And this one follows Chloe, who is a disabled black plus-size main character, and she moves into this building and the superintendent there is red, and they kind of have Chloe has a get a life list because she is almost a victim of a car crash, and she kind of sees her life blur before her eyes and she realizes she finds it a bit boring and she wants to get a life and do all of these things that prove that she's going to get a life, and Red ends up helping her along that journey. I just really like these characters. I think they've got great personalities and they both have certain emotional baggage that they work through in the story, and I really like seeing that element to it. So I'm here for the characters. I'm here for the cat, Smudge, who is a character of its own, and I adore that. And I also really like how these characters communicate. They're very honest and they're very upfront, and I appreciate that. The only thing that's not for me is the steamy scenes. They're not my kind of steamy scenes, so far at least. The ones that we've had, I'm just a bit like, they're not quite my type of thing, but I'm still enjoying the story, and I'll probably explain more in a wrap-up. So the next book I'm currently reading, I'm not really going to talk that much about because it's Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, and I have 2 chapters left and the epilogue, which is not long at all. I basically read the whole book because these last chapters are very epilogue-y and they're not really main plot things. So I'm going to actually just save my thoughts for my wrap-up, because I think by the end of the month, which is in 3-ish days, I'm going to definitely finish this one. Actually, I'm planning to finish it after this video. I'm just going to sit down and blitz my way through the end, and it's a buddy read with Nicole from Who Picked This Book, and we read the whole series together, so it's been nice to just read this last one with her as well. So yeah, just await my thoughts on this conclusion because it's going to happen. I didn't even bother to put the dust jacket on it because I'm going to be reading it pronto. The other one I started was Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend. I started reading this during Soleil's celebrating her graduation live show, and this is the 3rd and final book in the Trials of Nevermore Crow series, which I'm reading for the Wander Along that I'm hosting with Sabine at Sabine's Book Nook. And the last live show for this video where we discuss it is going to be on April 10th on Sabine's channel, so definitely tune in on April 10th if you would like to join in. We've got some information on Instagram and on Twitter about times and such, but I'll leave it in the description box of this video down below as well. And yeah, there's not much I can tell you because it's the last one and I'm only 40 pages in, so I'm still very much at the beginning. I plan to have this as my top priority read when April starts, but in the beginning kind of just recaps what's happened in the past, which is always helpful for series in case there's been a big gap between you reading the books and you want a bit of a recap. And we're starting to see again more darker sides to the world of Nevermore. I think in the first book it really paints the world as like this is a perfect place to be and it's all fun, and the next books in the series are showing that yes, it's all fun, but there are some darker sides to it too, and we're definitely going to see that in this one, I think, from what I can judge from the beginning. Okay, so actually I'm really happy I get to talk about this in a video because I've been reading it since January but haven't been able to discuss it because nowhere near finished. And this is a buddy read that I'm doing with Abby from Abbey of Pelennor, and that is for War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, which is probably going to end up being the longest book I've ever read. But 3 months in and Abby and I are 1/3 of the way through, and we were thinking it was going to take the whole year, so we're actually making very good progress. I don't even think I'm going to attempt to summarize this book for you. I don't think I could do it, but it's about war and also the peaceful moments between war, but we're definitely following quite a few characters, quite a lot of them, and they're growing up and they're having different experiences and it's really changing who they are and their interactions. And I don't know, I just find it so fascinating to see the culture, to see all these characters. And in the beginning I had characters I really loved, but now I don't like them as much anymore because they've developed and grown up into something that I don't like, whereas in the beginning I didn't think they were going to be like that. And then we've had some characters who I didn't care about who now I love, and I think the way that my emotions change towards these characters based on what they do and who they interact with just goes to show how as people grow up they do change, and they can change for the better, they can change for the worse. You can like people at times and then drift away from them and then come back to liking them again, and it's showing all of that complexity very well. For the war chapters it is doing a lot of commentary on war and different elements to it, such as the higher officials don't get to see like the upfront suffering that some of the soldiers are going through and how your rank within the whole war thing impacts your experience with war a lot. And it's just unpacking a lot of things, talking about a lot of things, and I'm finding it very interesting. I didn't expect to like it as much as I am liking it, and I was a bit cautious going into this one because of how my experience with Anna Karenina went, where I didn't really like any of the characters and therefore it was more just enjoying the story. But here I like some of the characters, or at least some at any point in the book. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this and I'm looking forward to just continuing it slow and steady. And then the last book I have on my currently reading is an audiobook. I always have one audiobook on the go, and lately I've been using audiobooks as a way to listen to some of the books that are on my TBR that I want to read still, but I'm not super motivated to pick up in physical form, and then I can listen to them and still be conquering my TBR while listening to an audiobook. So I'm listening to The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I was originally very excited to read this one because I was sent a review copy by Book Break, and then reviews came in and I lost a bit of interest, but now I'm listening to it with Script, which is a audiobook service, and I've got a link down below, and if you sign up with Script you can get 60 days free and I get a month free, so you know you want to do it. And I'm enjoying listening to it. I'm still at the beginning. I would say I'm like a 1/6 of the way through. We're getting into fractions here, and I really can't tell you that much about what it is about. We're following these different characters throughout different moments of their life, and they've all got some involvement with the Glass Hotel. That's all I really know so far. The synopsis seems very vague, and the beginning has been interesting. I really like the setting of the Glass Hotel. The way it's described, where it's set, just creates an aura of mystery and isolation, which I always think is an interesting setting for any book like this. So I'm really liking this setting, and the characters, like, I don't like them, but I think they're going to have some interesting development. So I'm hoping to listen to this a lot more again today as well, because I usually listen while I'm ironing, and there's plenty of ironing to be done in this house. So now we're going to move on to the update section of this video. So the first thing I want to update you on is BookTuber's Choose My TBR. You may have noticed in that stack of books that I'm currently reading, none of them are books from BookTuber's Choose My TBR. So This month went a bit off the rails. I spilled water on my laptop, which is a bit of a disaster when you're trying to write your dissertation and finish all your final end of the year assignments, and I was just very stressed for a period of time, and I was not able to really read things that I'd set myself to read. I just picked up whatever I was in the mood for. So while I did read 2 books from Booktube's Choose My TBR this month, I am going to carry over that TBR, and it's going to be my TBR not for April but for May. So all of those books that you saw and you were like, oh, that will be interesting to hear Olivia-Savannah's opinions on, you gotta wait till May. I'm sorry, I'll be reading it in the month of May. But yeah, this month just was a thing, and we're just gonna ignore that TBR and move it over, where I'm going to have a TBR cleanup in May and read books that I set for my TBR this year but hadn't got to yet. And I know you're wondering, why don't you set it for April? And that is a very good question, because in the month of April I'm going to do a 30 books in 30 days challenge round 3, and I'm doing this to celebrate 5,000 subscribers. So what I want to say here is thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. It means so much to me. I really just, Booktube was my 3rd bookish platform. I made a book Twitter, a Bookstagram and a book blog beforehand, so actually it's my 4th platform, and you know, it's now my biggest platform, and it's also one of the ones I enjoy the most with Bookstagram. I just find that these platforms just bring me so much joy. I really love talking books with you. I'm here for the comments. I love all the discussion that we have in the comments about these books, and I can hear different people's opinions and communicate with you guys. I just really enjoy commenting on other people's videos, replying to my own comments. And everybody who watches or likes, just, I want to send out love and say I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here and spending time with me. I really appreciate it. And so we're going to do a 30 books in 30 days challenge to celebrate, and it will be interesting because the last time I did this challenge was April last year at the start of the pandemic, so it's been a whole year since my last one. I also vlogged that experience with weekly vlogs, and I did the first one of this challenge in 2018, which I didn't vlog, but I have wrap-ups, and in both of those, yeah, I won. I was successful. I managed to read 30 books in 30 days, and so it will be heated this time round because I'm competitive with myself and I want to succeed. And so in April you'll see weekly vlogs for that 30 books in 30 days reading challenge. And that's why I can't have my booktubers chose my TBR in April, because the booktubers, I love them, they chose a lot of thick books, and for 30 books in 30 days, thick books aren't that compatible. You can read a few, but you can't read like 10 of them. So it's moved to May, that's happening April, that's that update. Oh, and I have 2 more things to say. The first is that my Read It Backwards series, it's not going to be happening in April because of the 30 books in 30 days. I'm just going to focus on that. So my next Read It Backwards series, Read It Backwards, is going to start in May again, and I will be reading The Raven King because I'm going to reread The Raven Cycle because I'm very excited to do so and I can't wait. And the other thing that I wanted to say is I just wanted to open the possibilities to you guys. Are there any videos that you're very interested in seeing me do or make or whatever? Please let me know, because I would like to do a few of them as well and see if there's any ideas that you guys have that you would like to see. The only video that's off the table is a bookshelf tour. I've been asked to do a bookshelf tour before and I just can't do it because I've only got one bookshelf and it's in an inaccessible place. So most of my books are not on bookshelves. I can't do a bookshelf tour essentially. But any other video, if you've got any suggestions, let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks for sticking around to hear about what I'm currently reading and a bit of a update on certain things. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!